बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम। तो आज की इस वीडियो में हम ये माया जो किसी सेम वेबसाइट की तरफ से हैं। तो आज हम इनसे एक बार फिर एक टॉपिक पे बात करने वाले हैं जिसका नाम है ऑल राइट हाउ दिस सिंपल एफर्मेशन केम टू बी। तो फिर चलिए बगैर टाइम जाए कि वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं।
Hey, what's new?
हेलो, हाउ आर यू?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How's your week been going?
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a few questions today about the word all right, how this simple application came to be. So let's start it.
I'm intrigued. I've actually never heard of Ultra before, but I just did a quick search and found a few things. There's a supplement for athletes called Ultrid, but since you mentioned an application, you might be thinking of Altered. It's an AI journaling app for exploring altered states of consciousness. That sound like the one?
The first question is that what does the word all right mean?
If we're talking about the app, it's actually spelled Altered D, which is a play on the word altered.
I'm
It
asking,
refers to altered.
I'm
Wait,
asking,
a mask?
I'm asking that how does the word all right mean?
You've got me a bit confused now. I thought we were talking about the app, but then you mentioned a mask. Are you talking about a specific brand or maybe a piece of equipment called Altred?
All right, the word all right, what does that word mean?
To be honest, Altred isn't a standard word in the English dictionary. If it's not
Okay, so the first question is that what does the word all right mean?
on the surface, it's a total multitasker. Depending on how you say it, it can mean everything from I agree and I'm doing fine to that's acceptable or even everything is under control. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of affirmations. Do you use it more as a way to agree with people or just as a filler while you're thinking?
Okay, so the next question is that where did the word all right originate?
Let me dig into that. I have a feeling it's more straightforward than some of the other phrases we've looked at, but there's a bit of a timeline here. It actually goes way back. The phrase was first recorded between 1100 and 1150, and it even shows up in Chaucer's writing before 1413. The one word version, all right, didn't really start popping up until the 1880s in more informal writing. I've heard some people link that shift to Mark Twain, which feels very fitting for someone who loved playing with language. Does the formal two-word version feel more natural to you, or do you prefer the shortcut?
Okay, so what is the difference between all right and all right?
I think you might have caught me in a loop there. You asked about the difference between all right and all right. Did you mean the difference between the two-word version and the one word all right?
Yes.
Got it. Basically, it's a battle between formality and convenience. All right is the traditional, grammatically correct version that'll keep any English teacher happy. All right is the more casual, shorthand version that we see everywhere in texts and dialogue. Most people use them interchangeably, but if you're writing a formal essay, the two words are the way to go. Do you think the shortcut version makes it feel more relaxed or
Okay.
just
So
lazier?
the next
I'm still
question,
with you.
the next question is that which form is more widely accepted in formal writing?
Definitely the two-word version. If you're turning in a professional report or an academic paper, all right is the only one that's universally accepted. Using all right in those settings can still be seen as a mistake by some editors and professors. Do you usually stick to the rules when you're writing, or do you prefer to keep it casual?
Okay, so another question is that why do people commonly use all right?
I think it's because it's the ultimate safety net. It's neutral enough that it doesn't commit you to a huge emotional reaction, but it's positive enough to show you're on board. It keeps the conversation moving without needing to find a more specific word. Do you find yourself using it to avoid a conflict or just to keep things flowing?
Okay, so the next question is that when did the word all right became popular?
Wait, did you mean already or were we still on all right? I just want to make sure I'm digging into the right word before I go searching.
I'm asking that when did the word all right became popular?
Let me check on that for you. It's a bit of a pivot from our all right deep dive, but I'm into it. So, already actually started as a contraction of already back in Middle English around 1300. They basically meant being fully prepared. One of the coolest things is that using it at the end of a sentence to show impatience, like just do it already, actually picked up steam around 1903, likely influenced by Yiddish. Do you ever use it that way when you're feeling a bit rush?
Okay, so the next question is that how has the meaning of all right changed over time?
I think we're hitting a little translation snag. You said all red. But since we've been talking about all right and already, I'm wondering if you mean one of those? Or are we pivoting to something entirely new?
How has the meaning of all right changed over time?
It's actually stayed surprisingly stable, but it's expanded its job description. It started out very literally just meaning completely correct or in a right state. Over time, it morphed into this social tool we use for everything from like, agreeing to checking in on someone's well-being. It went from being a factual statement to an emotional one. Do you think it's lost some of its meaning since we use it for almost everything now?
Okay, so the next question is that who first used the word all right in writing?
Let me double check that. I recall something about Chaucer earlier, but let's see if we can pin down who officially got there first. The Oxford English Dictionary points to Geoffrey Chaucer as one of the earliest, with records from before 1413. It's wild to think that a phrase we use so casually today was already around in the Middle English period. Do you think the way people used it back then felt more formal than it does now?
Okay, so the next question is that why do some dictionaries accept all right?
It's basically a case of the dictionary following the people, not the other way around. Dictionaries are meant to reflect how language is actually being used in the real world. Since so many people use all right in their daily lives in writing, it would be dishonest for a dictionary to pretend it doesn't exist. They're just acknowledging that the shortcut has become a standard part of the language, even if some people still find it too casual. Do you think dictionaries should only include correct grammar, or is it better that they track how we actually talk?
Okay, so the next question is that why do some style guides prefer all right?
Whoa, hold on. I think we just hit a massive linguistic detour. Alt right is a political term and has nothing to do with the phrase all right or all right. Since we've been on a roll with common affirmations and linguistic history, I'm guessing that was just a typo. Did you mean to ask why style guides prefer the two word all right?
Is the word all right considered informal?
Not at all. The two word version, oh, right, is the gold standard. It's perfectly acceptable in every setting, from a casual text to a legal document. It's really only the one word all right that gets labeled as informal. Do you find yourself sticking to the two word version just to be safe?
Okay, so then the next question I just want to ask you is that can all right be used in academic writing?
Absolutely. Uh, as long as you're using the two word all right version, it's completely fine for academic writing. It's the professional standard, so you won't have any issues with professors or reviewers. Um, do you have a big paper you're working on right now?
How is the word all right used in everyday conversations?
It's basically the ultimate social lubricant. In everyday talk, it does a million different jobs. It can be a question to check if someone is okay, a way to agree without being
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a question that how do native English speakers use the word all right?
That's a bit of a pivot from the word ultra we were just looking at, but I've got you.
All
In a
right,
real
all
world
right.
sense,
I'm saying the word
you
all
caught me.
right.
My bad, I'm with you now. Alt right is basically short for alternative right. In the US and UK, it's used to describe a specific brand of far right politics that's usually more online, more aggressive, and focused on things like white nationalism. It's definitely not a term people use lightly. It's almost always used as a label for a specific political movement rather than just a general description.
Okay, so the next question is that is the word all right commonly used in American English?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those words you'll hear in almost every single conversation. Whether someone's complaining that the weekend is already over or wondering if you've already eaten, it's a staple. Do you find it tricky to place in a sentence?
How does pronunciation differ between all right and all right?
Wait, did you mean all right? Not all right? Because if so, they're actually pronounced exactly the same. It's one of those things where the spelling changes based on how formal you're being, but the sound doesn't budge.
Okay, so the next question is that what are some synonyms for all right?
It really depends on the context because all right is such a multitasker. If you're using it to say something is okay or acceptable, you'd find satisfactory or decent. If you're using it as a greeting or a check-in, like, are you all right? Then okay, you're doing well, work best. And if you're using it to agree to something, sure, or sounds good are the go-tos. Which version are you usually using?
Okay, so the next question is that what are some antonyms of all right?
Since all right has so many jobs, the opposite depends on what you mean. If you mean something is acceptable, the antonym would be wrong, unacceptable, or terrible. If you're talking about someone's well being, like I'm not all right, you'd use upset, hurt, or struggling. And if you're using it to agree, the opposite is a simple no or not at all. Does one of those fit the vibe you're going for?
Okay, so the one last and final question I'm gonna ask you is that why is understanding the origin of words like all right is important?
I think it's because language isn't just a tool, it's like a map of how people have thought and felt over time. When you dig into where a word comes from, you start seeing the patterns of how society shifted, like how a phrase that started as a formal blessing might turn into a quick bye because we become more focused on efficiency, gives you a deeper level of connection to the people you're talking to when you actually get the why behind the words. Plus, it's just kind of fascinating to realize we're all using these little linguistic fossils every day. Do you feel like knowing the history changes how you actually use the words?
Okay, so today it was nice talking to you. That's enough questions for today. For now, goodbye.